Hi, everyone. It's Sunday night. It's so good to be back with you. It's region weather meteorologist Matt Wentz. I hope you guys are doing well. Last weekend was Labor Day. We had a nice family trip. We got away. We came back, ready to attack the week ahead. And my plan was to do kind of a midweek or late week region weather live. But I got a really bad migraine. I usually don't get them. I don't know if you guys do. I know a lot of people that do. So I was just out. I can't function when I have them, and I'm getting another one on the different side, which is just so interesting. It just fascinates me, the science behind it. But anyway, that's the reason why we didn't want to do one the other day. But it's Sunday night. I'm filling in this weekend for an evening show, so we've got great internet tonight. Which is great. But I just wanted to catch up with you guys and get you, squared away on what's happening weather-wise this week. And I appreciate your patience with that as well. So we have a lot to talk about tonight. Hurricane Lee obviously has been stealing the show in terms of media coverage. I don't think I've ever seen a storm that has just not been that big of a deal capture so much attention in national news. However, it is starting to become a bigger deal. So this is when I want to pick up the conversation around it, because it's fascinating to watch, and it is going to impact quite a few people up and down the eastern seaboard. So we'll talk about Lee, but Lee doesn't affect us here locally, or does it? It kind of does, because what's going to happen is Lee heads north over the course of this week into next weekend. It's going to drag some cool air south. So it's all kind of related, but not really. So we'll explain all that. And we've got some rain to get through tonight and tomorrow, and then some fall-like air. So we'll cover all that here in the Sunday evening edition of Region Weather Live. And welcome in, everybody. Hope you're having a nice weekend. I already see the comments coming in on the Bears. Derek asking, man, is it going to be another year? We'll see what happens. But boy, what a first week in the NFL here, with some teams that you didn't think would win and some that obviously, just can't continue to win. So there's that. Let's see who else we have. We have Maxwell with us tonight. Good evening to you, Maxwell. Savannah's with us. Thank you, Savannah. I appreciate that. Emilio's with us. Maxwell says Popcorn Fest was great. I hope you guys had fun at Popcorn Fest. That was my favorite event to cover on the TV side of things. We would always cover it. Just great times down there, especially when you have great weather like we had this weekend. Carl's with us. Susan, good evening to you. Diane, hi to you. Mark says 78 today, but no breeze. That will change, Mark. Appreciate that, though, from your local weather sensor. Diane is with us. Linda, good evening to you. Vicky, Andrew, good evening. Amanda's with us. We've got Amy. She says, go Packers. Boy, Packers look good today, despite no Aaron Rodgers. And Andrew says, my son Austin also says hello. Hi, Austin. Thanks for staying up late with us. I appreciate that. Reed, good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on our YouTube channel. I appreciate that. And Debbie, happy Sunday to you. All right, let's thank our sponsors real quick. From top to bottom, we've got Tiger. It's over here. It's like a green screen. Everything's backwards. Tiger Plumbing, they're offering $30 off any plumbing service that you possibly need. They come out for free to begin with, so you can't lose in that kind of situation. But it's tigerplumbing.net. PSA, our public service adjusting company. If you have any claim whatsoever, insurance-wise, right, you don't want to deal with that. Okay, insurance companies aren't fun. Go to PSA or publicserviceadjusting.com. They're local. They're all licensed. They're fantastic. Go to them first with whatever the problem is. They'll do all the talking between you and the insurance company that you need to do. They'll get you more money than you normally get. It's a win-win, but they'll handle everything from start to finish with your insurance claim. It's publicserviceadjusting.com, stjudehouse.org, our center here in Northwest Indiana, which is a nonprofit. They do wonderful work. They continue. I just had a chat with Ryan, who runs the thing this week. over the work that they continue to do and the vision that they have for Northwest Indiana. I am blown away, you guys. Just what a great organization, all centered around domestic violence, which isn't something pretty to talk about. But their outreach, they have a mobile advocacy program where they're going and meeting people. Their outreach around that has been life-changing for a lot of people. So if you know anyone that's dealing with anything around domestic violence in the region, please have them go to stjudehouse.org. And finally, last but not least, Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram out of Valparaiso. They've got a brand new line of Jeeps out right now. Again, all ready to go for winter season. Four-wheel drive is going to be something that we need soon. I hate to say that, but Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and Valparaiso. All right, let's jump into it here. Carl, I want to answer your question here first. Would you agree this has been a very weird year with the amount of temperature changes in the same week? That's what Carl asks. So, Carl, I don't know about same week. It's been a strange year in terms of we've been and here this kind of plays into that, Carl. We've been towing the line all late spring and summer between that real hot air out towards the west and the cool air out towards the east. Usually we kind of settle in between. It's either hot for much of the summer or on the cooler side for much of the summer. And we had those fluctuations because that dome of heat produced heat that was way above average. But also because of that, we had way below average temperatures in Canada at times. So because you had extreme versus extreme, we kind of got back and forth with that a couple times. And so that has been weird. But other than that, I mean, the other thing is we've had more extremes in terms of precip. Remember how dry we were. We had a big drought ongoing. And then we got all this rain at once, and now we've gone kind of dry again. So it has been kind of the summer of extremes. So I would agree with you in that point, if that makes sense. Lynn caught us live. Awesome. Thanks, Lynn. That's great. Robin says, perfect day for the walk to end Alzheimer's in Lake County. I'm glad you had great weather for that, Robin. What a great event. And Karen says, Grieger's is the best. That's good. In the smoke, too, Maxwell says. Yeah, great call. We just did a recap on summer there in a couple minutes there. Anyway, let's jump in the forecast. So here's what we're dealing with right now. Big picture pattern across the U.S. We've got moisture coming in the Pacific Northwest. That tells you that seasons are changing because typically systems this time, in the summer, will go way up and over, right? The jet stream's off towards the north. Jet stream's starting to sink south a little bit, all right? So areas of Washington, Oregon getting a little bit of rain. There's been a lot of rain with this system out in the plain states. This is where we get our rain from tonight, tomorrow. This system will kind of come together. And then you can see we've got a stalled out frontal boundary out towards the east. And obviously, you can't miss it, Hurricane Lee here. Continues to intensify and move very slowly north of Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and the Leeward Islands there, okay? That's the big picture. So where do we go from there? Our first thing we're going to deal with is the system in the plains, all right? There's already some showers just out towards our west. So we're going to bring in some showers tonight. And then tomorrow's kind of a rainy day. It's not a washout, but we're going to have some rain around pretty much all day periodically. Here's how it comes together. This is with the cold front. You notice how we have rain. This is midday. This is afternoon, and this is evening tomorrow. So not expecting a whole lot of thunder with this. There's not a lot of instability, but we are going to have some rain around, light to moderate most of the time. Could get occasional downpour or two. And this is going to be along a frontal boundary, which really brings in fall-like air midweek. And you'll really start to notice that Tuesday, but really into Wednesday this week. You notice how that wind shifts on Tuesday. Most of the rain should be out of here. We may have some lingering lake clouds. Maybe a lake effect shower with that as well. But you notice in terms of the pattern, you see all these arrows on here. We're really flipping that wind around out of the north, and it's a strong wind out of the north. So we'll probably have beach hazard statements. Not that you're planning on going to the beach on Tuesday, but we're going to bring cooler air in here. So where do we go from there? I want to go big picture on this rest of the week because we pretty much go dry after Tuesday. Again, maybe a lingering shower on Tuesday. As that system departs. But I want to go big picture because I want to show you where Lee goes, at least on the modeling. And we go quiet after that. So there's really not much to look at locally. So here's that frontal boundary. You can see bringing the rain through the area tomorrow. You see how some of that may linger here on Tuesday. Just some scattered showers, mainly of the lake effect variety. And then here you go. This is Wednesday. Some lake effect east of us. Eastern seaboard's getting hit with rain. Here comes Lee. This trough or this frontal boundary that goes by us is going to be the reason why Lee gets kind of picked up and carried by it. So the front comes by. Lee's kind of sitting there, and the influence of this front kind of pulls Lee into it, all right? That combined with the high pressure of the north ought to be enough to pull Lee north, okay? There was big question last week if this trough going by would be enough to even move Lee, or if Lee would sit, trough would go by, and then Lee would be under an influence of high pressure, which would be a no-no. That would bring Lee into land. But it looks like this front that's going to be going by tonight, tomorrow, is going to be the reason why Lee does not hit areas of the East Coast, all right? That goes by. We settle under a nice, cool Canadian high pressure Wednesday, Thursday. I mean, you want delightful days. We've got a great mid to latter half of the week this week. Low humidity, cool temperatures, especially at night. I'll show those to you. But notice how this trough here it is. This is the front that goes by tomorrow. It starts to pick up Lee here, all right? Lee is going to expand wind field wise. So Lee's been kind of compact right now, but as it makes this turn and it starts to strengthen a little bit more, the wind field is going to expand. That means the waves are going to expand. So this thing will be bringing large waves into pretty much the entire East Coast by the time we roll around to Thursday and Friday, all right, as it expands. It'll get caught up in that trough as it looks right now. And you can see how as it heads to the north, there it goes. Where does it go from here? And this still continues to be the question in the modeling. We're still dry on Friday and Saturday. But from here, this is Saturday now, is it still under the influence of that trough? Or has that trough gone by and Lee's kind of floating around again, meaning it can come back into land? That remains to be seen. But the Euro model run brings it into areas of Nova Scotia, but that would bring some real strong winds into coastal New England, all right? Not to mention waves. Or does it go further east? All right. If it does, then New England's just going to have big waves. That's it. So this still remains to be seen right in here. Where does it go after that trough exits? But one thing's for sure, we stay fairly quiet into the weekend. If you remember me talking about hurricanes in the past, everything waits for hurricanes. Hurricanes are such strong areas of low pressure that everything waits out towards the west of them. So if our weather pattern's moving, we have cold front, and then you get a tropical system or a hurricane going north, right? Everything has to stop for that. So cold front comes in and stops, and the pattern holds. Everything waits for that hurricane to exit and do its thing, and that's kind of where it goes, all right? So everything will kind of wait for that, and then we'll get the pattern moving again. The good news for us, we settle into a pretty nice pattern to be stuck in, and that's kind of where we go this weekend. So next weekend does look good. The GFS was showing a little bit of a rain chance with the frontal boundary, but as of right now, I'm going to keep it dry. So we go pretty dry here, okay? In terms of temperatures, this is our national blend of models. This is the last thing I'm going to go over. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to get those into the chat now. I'd be happy to answer those for you. But we noticed the dip in temperatures this week, right, with this fall-like air. These are your highs. So we'll be in the 60s Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Wednesday is going to be our cool day. But the thing I want you to notice are our lows. This is Wednesday morning, Thursday morning, Friday morning, even Saturday morning. We could have some 40s. So we're going to have that fall chill at night, and especially waking up in the mornings as well. So Friday night bonfire looks pretty good. Pretty good idea. Even the weekend, low 50s are nice sleeping weather lows, right? So open up the window. We'll have low humidity around here as well. I just thought of something that we should look at, and I'm going to show you because I think we should. But I think a lot of you are going to say, why are we looking at this? All right. So I want to look at snow cover. All right. I haven't looked at this yet. I want to see where the snow is now. Okay. Because it's always fascinating to watch how the snow expands further and further south as we head through fall. Okay. If you don't want to look at snow with me, I'll completely understand. If you want to, check out now, that's fine. I just want to see this. Okay. So let's look here. This will go over the next 15 days. So this is snowfall. This is Saturday, Sunday. We'll just go all the way to the end. This is through September 26th. Okay, so there's not much. A little bit in the Rockies, Western Rockies up in Canada get some snow, but we're not talking Canada yet. So, yeah, we're good. I mean, Northern Canada, yes, but that's interesting. I just wanted to see that. And that's not to remind anyone of anything going on, okay? We're not going to have snow in the future, at least near future, but, once we get beyond that, it's fine. Okay. Let's see. Hi, Mary. And Tyler asked a good question. Is summer over now? Tyler, I don't think so. I think 90s for the most part. We can pretty much close the book on that. It's still possible, but it's really hard to hit 90 degrees as we get in the latter half of September. That sun angle is just getting much lower. But in terms of 80s, I think we still have some more 80-degree days up our sleeves. Out ahead of frontal boundaries, whatever it happens to be, we can certainly do that still. So I don't think summer's over yet. In terms of closing up pools, stuff like that, I mean, we get some warm October days too. I'm not shutting down our pool. We don't have a real nice pool, but we have enough for a kid to swim in that we can take down every year and blow it up. It's one, I don't know what they're called, summer waves or something waves. But anyway, we're going to keep ours up probably through October because I don't want to miss out on those freak 80-degree days that we get in October where we're like, wish the pool was open. So that's just kind of a word of advice. Maxwell asked a good question. If we get into a drought again, could the winter temps be a bit above normal? Well, Maxwell, that's a good question, first of all. So if we get into a drought again, normally a drought's not really going to impact our temperatures locally. We have to pay attention to what's going on in Canada because we can get some real cold blasts of air out of Canada that aren't going to care if we're in a drought or not. They're either coming or not. But if we're in a drought, we can actually, when you have a drought, there's less moisture in the ground, obviously. So, and what moisture does is makes it harder to heat up and cool down. All right. So when we have a drought and it's dry and there's not a lot of moisture, we can heat up quickly. We can cool down quickly. So if we fall into a drought, if anything, that would allow us to have not less moisture in the atmosphere, meaning we would have colder days. We could have the potential to have some colder air slide across, that unimpeded moisture ground, whatever it happens to be. But it really doesn't make so much of a difference in the winter as it does in the summer, for sure. Lynn, you're welcome. I appreciate that. Yep. Emilio, yeah, buddy. Go ahead and open. Well, you're going to have some rain, Emilio. And so he's asking, can we open the windows tonight? I probably wouldn't, Emilio, just because of the rain coming in. There's some rain right now back towards the Aurora area. Ottawa is dealing with some rain. And some of these downpours are pretty decent. There's been a couple lightning strikes too. So I would hold off on the windows open, Emilio, until probably Tuesday night and especially Wednesday night. You can go ahead and open them back up. Julie asked a good question. How much rain are we expecting for Monday? Not a lot, Julie. If you get under a heavier downpour, we could see up to a half an inch. Otherwise, I think our amounts are lower than that. I don't expect any flooding or anything like that. Trisha asked a good question. In New Jersey and New York, are they going to be okay from the hurricane? Trisha, as of right now, everything's going to head east, and it could impact areas of Maine. The biggest thing in New Jersey and New York is going to be large waves. All right, they're going to have rip currents there as well. So just not a good time to go to area beaches out there. But in terms of impacts directly from Lee, it doesn't look like it right now. But we're still talking a time frame being next Friday, Saturday, Sunday when this would be happening. So there's still some time on that. So that being said, the models don't quite have 100% handle on this. So stay tuned on that. Track could shift out towards the west a little bit, and that would impact them. But as of right now, it looks like most of the U.S. is going to be okay. The area in question is going to be Maine and maybe New York, maybe New Jersey, but more so Maine and like Massachusetts, those areas that jet out. Kimberly's done with the air conditioning at the house. That's awesome. Maxwell, I thought about doing a meet and greet one day. Absolutely. If I make it back to the region, I've got a lot of people to meet in the region. Our radio partners, I haven't even met them. And I've become really good friends with them over the last year. We've been doing area radio for a year now, which blows my mind. We're working on some stuff with the Rail Cats, which is awesome. So there's going to be reasons to do a meet and greet. Side note, though, we've got another baby on the way, and that's going to be next month. So we're kind of in that mode right now. And I think it's going to be really hard to make a trip. I don't think my wife's going to let me get away to go on a trip. So, but yes, I'll let you know when we do that for sure. Tom's question. I like this. Tom says, oh my gosh, Tom. When will the stench from the Bears' performance dissipate? Tom, probably in January when the season's over. This is great. Oh my gosh, that's great. Vicky, good evening to you. Trisha says son lives in New Jersey West. So Trisha, as of right now, New Jersey is going to be okay from that. Maxwell, there's still smoke lingering out towards our west. We can look at that product real quick just to get a good idea. because I haven't checked it today. But yeah, there's still smoke out there from Canadian wildfires. So we're not 100% done. That's the wrong one. Let me look at that real quick, because any of these dry air masses, we could certainly get into it. Okay, so here's wildfire smoke. So here's what I'm talking about. It's kind of smoky and hazy to our west right now. And that kind of comes in here. You won't notice it because it's getting picked up by the front. We're great Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, we're good. But you see how there's still a little bit lingering. So anytime we get into just the right event series of events, that's what I'm looking for, of highs and low pressures, it could bring some of that down. So just something we need to keep in mind. Great question, though. Thank you guys for the congrats. I appreciate that. Julie says, how's the wife doing? Julie, wife's doing great. Just wonderful at this point. If this is our last kid, which is our plan, this would be number 4. She just had her last ultrasound, technically. And so, things are going great, though. Baby's happy, healthy, as we can tell right now. So we're thanking the good Lord for that. Everything's been great. So appreciate that. Yeah, Mark asks about the rain delay yesterday and that lightning strike. Mark, did you see that lightning strike? A lot of games had thunderstorms yesterday, mainly SEC country, but there were storms dancing all around those games. Some of the NFL games, the one tonight, I think that's on. There's some storms around, but real interesting for sure. And finally, Francesca says, I am ready for fall weather. That is the beauty, Francesca, of living in Northwest Indiana, because like down south, I lived in Georgia, right, before we came home. I was in Georgia, and we were watching football, and it was 90 degrees outside and hot. And it didn't feel like football season. It just didn't. And then it's Christmas, and it's 70s, right? The beauty of living in the Midwest in general, in Northwest Indiana, is that we kind of forget. I don't know about you, but I kind of forget what the last season felt like. So I can't picture, if I look outside, I can't picture it being cold and snowy. And then the same thing in the wintertime, I can't picture what it's like to have leaves on the trees and being warm, So we have seasons long enough that they're enjoyable, and you enjoy them when they come. And it really is a special place to live. Football weather comes when football season starts. Everything kind of lines up. So say what you want about Northwest Indiana weather, but I always, I don't know, I can't say that when I retire. As of right now, this stage in life, I love this place, and I love the fact we get all 4 seasons. That may change the more snow that I shovel as I get older, but we'll see. I hope you agree with me, and if you don't, I respect that. All right, guys. Well, that's it. I appreciate you joining me on this Sunday night. I really do. It's so good to be back with you guys again. As always, regionweather.com. We have daily updates on there. If you go to regionweather.com, off towards the right, it'll say sign up for email. You will get 1 email a day, and it's in the morning when I do a weather update, all right? And it's a specific update just for Northwest Indiana, just for you. And it's the graphic that I make for our Facebook page is what we send out to our radio partners. I've gotten tremendous feedback on that people love that. So you can either check weather.com and look at a forecast that will change every 2 seconds, or you can check your inbox every morning. It'll have a little paragraph about today's weather. It'll have a cute little graphic that I work on over a cup of coffee, and that's it. And you get it beyond your day, and it's specific for you, okay? And it's not going to change. So that's, again, on regionweather.com. Just want to throw that out there, okay? Susan, I've missed you too. It's really good to be back. I'm glad the holidays are over. This is work time for me. September, October, November, December. That's when we really buckle down. We start to focus on winter storms, and we'll be very consistent from here on out. Okay. Diane, thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right, guys, have a wonderful start to your week. Again, a little rain moving in here tonight. Tomorrow's going to be on and off rain, and then we talk cooler temperatures midweek. So hope you're ready for it. All right, we'll talk to you soon.